One word, evasive maneuvers. So apparently I've seen a few trending videos that were literally the only videos that I saw on YouTube so far that teaches you how to get people off the back whenever you're flying. And so what I've seen is I've seen the vertical climb, which is where you basically do a corkscrew but through the sky and you get the enemy to stall, but you stall as well. I mean, what's the point? But that's only if your engine is about as great as theirs, which it probably most likely will be either weaker or the same if you're not, you know, constantly buying new, better planes. Basically, what I've figured out is if you're in a open map with no terrain and it's like over water, or if it's over flat terrain, um, trees most likely, I mean, it helps sometimes, but trees won't help you if the enemy is diving down on you from behind. Like diving down. Like they're gonna kill you instantly. Doesn't matter if there's trees below you or not. I mean, it might help a tiny bit because it's harder to, for me, it's harder to aim at people who's blending in with the ground. Um, Also because of my crosshair and blah blah blah, all that. But anyways, what I do whenever I get people on my tail, I usually do a very weird technique. I pull hard left on the yaw and hard vertical on the pitch, and both at the same time, and I usually do this weird spin thing, and it puts me in a almost sort of spin, but I still have control, and that gets them guessing where I'm gonna go, so then it's harder for them to shoot at me. To be honest, I usually do not slow down whenever I get someone on my tail. I don't slow down whatsoever. The more I slow down, the easier it is for them to predict where I'm going, which means the prediction circle that's ahead of the enemy's plane, it gets closer to their plane, and it's way easier for them to shoot you. So that's why I don't slow down whatsoever whenever I get someone on my tail. So what I do though is I usually just pull that little maneuver. Um, Try to keep up your speed and try to keep them guessing where you're going by like trying to make it look like you're gonna go in all these different directions, but you're not. Try to dive if you're higher in the sky, so that I don't know, maybe you might get an advantage if you dive. Because if you go up, you lose speed. You know what that equals? Death. Unless your engine's way stronger than the enemy's engine. But in my case, my engine's never stronger than the enemy's engines. But if you're in terrain like mountains and stuff that like have jagged sides and all that, what you want to do whenever you're being chased there is you really want to find some valley. If you're good at flying the plane, as in movement, if your plane has good movement by itself, like rolling, it's you know, all its good stuff, its flaps, all that. If all that is good and not damaged, and if your plane is just okay in general and good at maneuvering, then I suggest that you usually hug the side of the mountain and rotate your plane to where that part of the plane is facing the side of the mountain, and hug the mountain and fly around it, and I would try to gain it depends on what your situation is. It depends on your terrain, the type of mountains that's around, If there was like a bridge with things under it, then I would definitely go under the bridge if I was trying to get away, because the bridge would help me some, and then I would go into a vertical climb, still hugging the mountain, and fly over the top, which usually helps me a lot. Sometimes, most of the time, I get away, but that's usually with like damaged oil filter or whatever, and fuel tanks, which is pretty bad. And my wings, they get damaged from the fight, and I have to try to fly all the way back to base, and I never make it. So, well, sometimes if you're in that terrain and you're on the side of the mountain, all that, but if you're close to the top of the mountain, go down. But if you're close to the bottom, either stay at the bottom, keep the enemy guessing where you're going, even though you're in a narrow little pathway which might kill you, or you can hug the side of the mountain, stay on the side, and if the enemy is above, turn your plane, rotate your plane to where it looks like sideways, like a knife or something. The reason I say rotate it like that is not because of the mountain, but because it gives the enemy less area. Like, see, like right here you got the wings, the side flaps to be shot. That's a big area. But if you rotate it, you only have this to shoot at. So that's another one. And lastly, stay near the trees. They help some. If you're being chased. If you're being chased and it's just flat ground, nothing to help you with, then you need to I suggest, from my observations, you do not extend your flaps into combat flaps unless your enemy is going at extremely fast speeds, way faster than your plane, because that way they'll just shoot past you really fast. But if they're going around the same speed, a little bit faster than your plane, then you need to not extend flaps, and you need to find a way to go into a vertical climb, but not a corkscrew, because they will overpower your engine and just turn a certain way and kill you instantly while you're stalling in the air. So I suggest try to find a way into a vertical climb and cut it off at an early state before they can get to you at the top. So I suggest that would be a good idea, and you should use that and see if that might help. But anyway, have a great day, and I guess I'll see you guys in the